Hi, I'm going to be showing you an advanced technique for the pen tool in Photoshop Illustrator. This works in CS4, CS2, and Adobe Photoshop 7, although I'm not too sure whether they work in earlier versions, but feel free to try. This technique is good for people who use a mouse or people who use a tablet, so you're pretty much set no matter what tool you use. This isn't a basic pen tutorial. This is for people who are more familiar with the pen tool and what it does. But I will be just going over some basics in case you've missed anything. And over and all, the pen tool is an extremely useful and indispensable tool to the Illustrator. And although many people would immediately throw it down in frustration because it does some things that don't seem to be fixable, but they actually are. So let's begin. I've drawn some swirly shapes on layer 3 between my background and my foreground layer. And let's say I want to trace this. I've locked in, like made it in, and I've lowered the opacity so it won't bother us. But let's say you want to trace this. Yeah, that's going to be hard. So we try it with the brush tool. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that's going to be difficult, so we're not going to do that. The next perfect thing would be the pen tool. This is the pen tool. It's like a little quill. You're probably familiar where it is, or you could press P on your keyboard. Alright, so let's begin. So we start with an anchor, or base point, that will contain the line, segment, or curve that we are going to be drawing. So let's put our second anchor point here, and by clicking and dragging, we're going to create this nice curve that'll sort of fit this curvature that I've drawn. So we've got this, it's okay. And now we're going to explain a couple of things. This is the curve, or the segment between anchor points 1 and 2. And 2 has something called handlebars. And much like a bike, when you grab the handlebars and you pull it over to one side, the curve you're going at changes. And so the same applies to the pen tool. So we go to our direct selection tool, which is right here. It's usually the path selection tool by default, and that just lets you move this whole path as one. But let's say we just want to edit this curve. We hold it down, we go to the direct selection tool, or A, and we click on the curve, on the anchor point, and look, we've got two handlebars. So when we click and drag, we can edit this curve. So in case you've already done a curve but you want to change it because you don't like the way it looks, this is an option. So let's continue. We've gone to our pen tool, and we're going to continue. So we want to continue making this curve. What happened there? Yeah, always press on your last anchor point. But before that, let me explain one more thing. Here is, right next to the little pen tool icon, we have a circle, which means that if you press on this anchor point, or you click on it, it is going to complete the path. There we go. See, it's a complete path now. You can fill it in. Well, once you stroke it, you can fill it in. It's not going to have any gaps, but it's just complete. You can edit it when it's complete by taking your direct selection tool and playing around with stuff. But that's just it. So let's go back there. So we're back. Alright, another part is this little slash, backward slash you see on the beside your pen tool. That means you are going to be continuing your path from the last anchor point. So you click on this, and see it says pick up path. You're picking the path back up from where you started or left off. So let's continue. We want to do it here. Now that is an ugly path because we want it to fit this, but it's not happening. So what are we going to do? Let's try something. Alright, we go to our direct selection tool, and let's try this. It's doing something, but as you can see, it's moving both curves, the curves between anchor 1 and 2, and 2 and 3. But we just want to move this. So that's not working. Alright, let's try this again. So we've got it back here. We can try this handlebar. But that's not really doing it for us either. And this is where the advanced technique comes in. Going over your pen tool, you press the Option or the Alt key if you're a PC user, and Option if you're a Mac user, and you just go over the handlebars. Do you see that? Our pen tool changes into an incomplete triangle or cursor. Why? But before, I'll explain that in a second. But let's just say, if there was a handlebar here, it would control this curve. this handlebar and this handlebar, like these ones, control this curve. And what this option key is going to do is going to break this tangent. It is going to break this tangent away from this. So when we move this handlebar or this handlebar, it is not going to affect this curve. So let's say we want to fix this curve, but we don't want to touch this handlebar. It's not working. We don't want to have this curve be screwed up while we're doing anything. So we go to our pen tool, we press option, and we click and we drag while holding the option, and we break, essentially we break the tangent away. See that? It broke it away. So this curve wasn't affected by anything we did here. But look, it's not totally perfect. We'll go back and we'll grab this one and we'll fix it some more. You know, at this point it just becomes how familiar you are with this technique, and it'll come with practice. So remember that everything that you do to this handlebar is not the same if you would do it to this handlebar. They both produce different results. So if you're not getting what you want from this handlebar, try this handlebar as well. So that's that. So let's say we're on our pen tool. See, it doesn't do it. We have to pick up the path here. Alright, so we've done this. Look at that. So let's say we don't like this curve. We just don't like it. We want it to do this. We want it to go this nice lower arc. What are we going to do? Alright, we grab our pen tool. Actually, we grab our direct selection tool because the ones that we've selected are essentially this and this. But we want this and this. So we're going to click on this one, and it shows us the handlebar for anchor points 4 and 5, which are the handlebars we're going to need if we want to edit this curve. So instead of just doing this where you see everything's being screwed up here, or this where everything's again being screwed up, we just want to work with this. We're going to go to our pen tool and we're going to click the option or alt, and you're going to mouse over the handlebar on anchor point 4, and you're going to click and drag down. Now remember what I said, when you do something to one handlebar, it doesn't necessarily produce the same results if you did it to the other handlebar. This is exactly what I'm talking about. See, we've moved this handlebar, but it's not giving us that nice arc, so we have to go to this one and we're going to have to pull it down as well. And then after that you can just use either and get it to the curve you like. Now, a word of warning. Once you break a tangent from the other curve, once we've broken this curve from this and this, the handlebars don't really work like handlebars anymore. You know, on a bike you can't have one side is broken and the other side is just not broken. It's not going to work. Your bike's not going to go the way you want it to. So once that happens, see, we can no longer, remember how when we grabbed one handlebar, this curve and this curve would move. That's not the case anymore. Once you've broken a tangent, you can only work with that tangent, and the other tangents will be separate. So if we were to make another one like this, it wouldn't work this way anymore. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. Same thing, once you stroke your path, you liked it and you stroke it and you don't like it anymore, you want to change it. Once you move this, you cannot unstroke it. Remember, there's always an undo button, so you can undo everything you've done, and then edit your curve and then stroke. But remember to spot these mistakes early on before you get so ahead in your artwork that going back to that point is almost impossible. So pay attention to that. Alright, well, I hope this helps a lot. This is going to be a really big lifesaver for people who are working with line art and illustrations, because it's going to save you a lot of time with being frustrated on the brush, or for those people who work with a mouse and cannot afford a tablet, it's going to help, you know, ink. It's just going to put you up par with everyone who does have a tablet. So don't feel disadvantaged. This is an extremely, extremely useful tool. I will have up a basic pen tool soon. So just for now, this was the advanced option. Have a great time. I hope this really helps you out, and happy holidays!